Well, all right. What's his view? Does he think robots and AI agents are going to do everything, and we're all going to be on universal basic income and not have jobs, or what? What? What?
No. So I think the term of, average general intelligence or AGI is take a step back. So machine learning has been around since the 50s, right?
Yep.
AI has been around since the 50s. There's been two limiting factors. One is the compute power necessary to build ever larger models. The second is data that's uniform enough to build advanced insights, right? Now, the interesting thing is we're sort of at that place again. And every time we hit the wall, it's called an AI winter. That's actually the terminology in the industry. So there was one in the 90s, there was one in the 2000s, one like 2014, and now we're sort of about to reach that next one where we sort of exceeded either our compute power or available data necessary, right? And so there's three or four large companies in the space that are doing this sort of AGI, large language model work. They have essentially scraped all available data from the internet. Like there's no new data available, right? Uh, so what happens when there's no new data available? There's a really strong argument to be made that we're not going to get much smarter then, are we? There's also an argument to be made that these models are not actually rationalizing. They've by consuming that large amount of data, they have seen in the past a couple of examples of the question you're trying to answer. Right? There's it's a really fun uh, you can try, and it's how many R's are in strawberry. Right? You type that into any general model, it's going to tell you there's two R's when there's three, right? And you can clearly spell it out and you're like, well, how is this happening? It's because it's not actually reasoning, right? And the way these models work is it doesn't know the answer until it's produced it. So like when you fundamentally understand how these models are producing the results they're
Mhm.
great for many things, but they're not capable of that general yet, and might not be able to for the foreseeable future. That putting you on universal basic income.
Okay. All right. So you think you think we'll be fine? The Terminator is not coming. You think everything's going to be fine?
Well, you could build a Terminator today, and they have connected large language models to, defense-based robotics. But that being said, it's not like it's it's not actually reasoning, right? It's not sentient. It's not
Okay.
consuming the context, making a unique decision. It's only looking at the data that it was trained on and then approximating based on that data what it thinks the outcome should be,
I got
right?
you. I got you.
It's
I got you.
it's different.
Okay. Okay. Will there be humanoid robots in every household in the next 5 or 10 years to do chores?
So ironically, that's probably a more, to me, that's a more interesting question. The problem with robotics has traditionally been the ability to grasp unique objects, so dexterity, right? So like the right force to apply,
Yep.
like for a tomato versus a brick.
Hmm.
There's been a ton of advances there, but in terms of like being in every house in the next decade, I think we really need to understand like what is the utility of having a robot in every house in the next decade. And can you imagine how much it's going to hurt when one of those things steps on your bare foot? Like,
Yeah, safety is a big one. Safety is a big one, you know. Yeah, they got yeah, I totally agree. Well, we're living in a fascinating time, my friend. Fascinating world, aren't we?
you know, uh, the amount of novelty in the last decade is unparalleled in human history, just like the amount of compute power for space on a microchip keeps,
Yes.
increasing.
Yes.
Um, I saw something like it took 1,000 years to invent candles. It took hundreds of years to invent, the electrical light it took 20 years or 30 years to invent an LED. Like it's just the pace of innovation is rapidly modernizing.
It's
So
crazy.
it'll be an interesting few decades, and we need to have smart policy to make sure that we're we're thinking through and managing this risk and change well.